Hi friends, it's Becky, and today is the 3rd of July, tomorrow is the 4th of July, which in the United States where I live is a holiday to celebrate the USA, and the colors of our flag, which is red, white, and blue. And so I thought, and actually I'd made a promise when I talked to you guys earlier this week, that I would be pulling out that firecracker bag. That, it's the tween bag that came in between the May Gemstone Orphanage package and the July Gemstone Orphanage package. They did a little tween box in June, which is not part of the subscription program. It was one that you just bought individually, but it was themed on red, white, and blue. And so I made, when I got that, I opened it up and I immediately made an anklet with some of the charms that had been on there. It was a lot of fun, and it was so great to like explore ankleting. But one of the things that just absolutely I wanted to make something with was these graduated rounds that came in the box, because we had this Mash and Jade in this gorgeous like true red color. We had this Howlite, and then we have this Sodalite, and they're graduated. All the work is basically done almost for this. It's just a matter of getting them lined up correctly to be able to make a necklace that I can wear. So I'm going to start with the Sodalite, and I'm going to be stringing them onto some closed rings. These are about 10mm closed rings. They are soldered shut, and that's going to be my connector for all 3 of these. And I'm just going to take, let's see, 4 off the end on here, and I'm just going to string directly off of here onto some beading wire. So before I get started, let me go over my materials. I've got all 3 of these. I've got the rings. I'm going to be using some gold curb chain for the back part of the necklace, with lobster clasp and jump ring for a closure. And I thought I would string them on some beading wire that was the same color as the gemstones that I'm using. So I've got some dark blue lapis color beading wire. I have some red coral beading wire, which is like a true red. They don't make this anymore at Softflex. You might be able to find it in a trio, which is, that's one of the ways that I got some to have in my stash, was by buying it in trios. But if you can't find it, if you don't want a trio, I think garnet would make a really great red to go with the rest of these, because they do have that at the Softflex site. But red coral, I love it. Please start making it again, guys. Anyway, so we've got those, and then we've got the white quartz, and so I'll string the Howlite on that. I just thought that would be an extra way to bring those colors in, even though it won't be super visible. It'll be a little bit visible where it is crimped onto the ring, so we'll just have that. So I'm just going to pull 4 of these guys off. 2, 3, 4, because I don't want the whole length. And then I can use these and the other 4 on the other side, maybe in a bracelet. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let me pull off some of this blue lapis. I'm just going to string from the spool on this. I'll get that out there. And let's just get these guys on here. I'm just going to go directly from here onto my spool. Will this work? Ooh. Oh, that's handy. Okay. So all I'm doing is just lining up the beads and kind of putting the beading wire through as many holes as I can in a row. Yeah, that's going to speed things up a lot, because I can do that. Even though it's on this thread, it's a very thin thread, so I can fit the beading wire through the hole at the same time that we're doing that. That's going to make this go so much faster, y'all. Like I said, this is doing all the work for me. These beads are already lined up in the right order. They're basically already strung. All I need to do is just transfer them onto my beading wire from this thread. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just going to scooch these guys along closer to the end. Anyway, but yeah, so this was a Gemstone Orphanage offering that they did, and it doesn't happen every quarter, but when they do a tween box, they're usually well curated. They usually have a really cool theme that they go with, so it's worth getting, in my opinion. But I was just feeling like making some stuff to wear tomorrow. Alright, I'm getting most of this done. I left this last 4 over there so that I don't accidentally string them, although I can take them off if I need to. I'm sure that will work just fine for me. Whoop. And I'm probably going to be making some bracelets in similar colors tomorrow. So I'll go ahead and save those beads for that adventure. But for right now, I want to make this necklace. So this is going to be the longest one, so it'll be down at the bottom of the necklace. And before I crimp any of them, I'm going to want to hold them up side by side and measure them and make sure that they will fall correctly, because I want them to fall just one on top of another, just like I had lined up on my beading mat before we got started. I think that'll be gorgeous. And having all of these beads on there, it will be a little bit heavy, but I think we can handle that. Alright, all but 4 for this one. So I'm going to move these extra 8, because it was 4 on each side, out of the way. And because I am waiting until after I string them to do any of the crimping, I'm going to set this aside. I'm also, because I'm using different spools of wire, this is going to work really well for me. Let me get this wrapped up, put back on there, and a little bead stopper on here. Yeah, see, you can see the blue through there. Yeah, this is gonna look great. Alright, so I'm gonna set this aside. Wait, no, because I need to measure this a little bit next to it. I'm thinking if I take off 6 from the end, that this might be the right amount to hang. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if this one starts there, okay, maybe. And then on the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or that might not be enough. Maybe I need to do a little bit more for these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe if we start it down there. You know what I can do is I can pull some off of the end afterward if it doesn't fit right, but I'm gonna, or I can add stuff to it. Can always add, can always subtract, because I'm gonna wait until after they're all done to crimp them. So I think I was gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. get our white quartz wire. Yes. I feel like a couple of these are bigger than the others. Is that just me? Like that feels like 4mm and that feels like a 7mm rather than, you know what? It doesn't matter. Let's just actually put these bigger ones closer to that end. Let's have them be truly graduated. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's better. All right. I'm just trying to get these guys on here. Since I changed their order, I'm going to add these guys after the order that they're in. I love when we get graduated strands of gemstones. It's one of my favorite things. Don't tell anyone. It's a secret. Because it is also one of my favorite looks. I also like doing spacers between them. I'm not doing that on this one. But it, because I'm stringing 3 different strands. So if it was just one, I might do some spacers or have some dangles or something between them. But for this, it's just transferring with that same order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Got it. I think I might need to swap those two as well. Okay, but how great is Howlite though, guys? Love the whites and the grays. Whoop, there we go. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. I'm just going to need to swap the order on this one too, just a little bit, just because there's one of these right here that's bigger than the other ones, so I'm just going to put in on first. And it's just a little bit bigger, it's not like super big. I just feel better if I put it there. See, like that. That for myself. And it probably wouldn't be that super noticeable while it's being worn, especially with all of the other beads that are going to be on this necklace, but you know, here we go. All right. Now, let's double check this. I want to make sure that it will hang correctly above that in a layer. So I'm going to pinch each end of the wire right where they're supposed to be connected to the connectors. Let's see how those beads hang. Okay, so there's going to be a little bit of space there. So if I add 2 more howlite beads to each end, one of these smaller 4mm ones, and I'm just going to do both of them on this side for now while I test this, and then I'll remember to put the other one on the other end when we do the crimping. I think I'll remember. I'm going to try to remember. You guys yell at me if I forget, okay? Appreciate you. Okay. These 2 side by side. Just right there in the midst of it. Uh-huh. Is it too much? When they're hanging, I don't think it's too much. They're like right next to each other. Yeah, I think that's going to be perfect. I think that's going to be just right. So let's get this spool out of the way. And we'll start on the reds. Ooh, hold on. I'm not done with that one yet because I need to figure out how to get that one to hang right. Where we need to start on that. So I think with this, I'm going to take off all of the 4mm beads and just start with the 6mm for this one. And again, we will test it before we crimp it. Isn't this a great red? It's a fantastic, perfect red when you want a true red. I use it a lot more than I thought I would when I first saw it the first time. So if you have some fun plans for the holiday, let me know in the comments. I love to hear about fun things that my friends have planned. I may do some cleaning and organizing around the house, but I promise I will spend some time putting my feet up and relaxing. I might do some beading too. I have been wanting to do a little more bead weaving, so there will be a bead weaving tutorial. I can also promise that. Whether it gets finished tomorrow or over the weekend remains to be seen, because sometimes the bead weaving projects take a little bit more time than these other types of beading projects do. But I have an idea and I want to share it with y'all, so we're gonna do that, and it'll be on the easy side. It'll be something that is easy for a beginner to do. At least one of them will be. One of them might be a little bit harder. I don't know. We'll see. So let's see how these stack up next to each other. Gotta take that off. Laying down, they stack up just fine, but I want to see how they hang. Ooh, yeah. I think that's perfect, honestly. All right. So now let's get all three of them and compare them. See how they hang. And then I can start crimping. We'll put them all together. And I've got, it's actually going to be a little bit shorter because the wire is slipping out of my fingers. There we go. Sorry, you can't see it, but yeah. Perfect. They hang very, very nicely. It's hard to see it from this angle. I apologize about that. I will do a try on this weekend so you can see how it looks on a person. It's me, I'm the person. Alright. You know what? Actually, let's just get one end crimped while they're all still on their spool. And then we can do the cutting and crimp it on the other side too. Moving these guys out of the way. Let's get a ring out, and I need some crimps. Yep. All right. I personally prefer soft flex 2x2 crimp tubes, and I really love using a magical crimper to do that. I recently experienced a problem with a different magical crimper, not the one that I'm used to using. And it wasn't something that I was aware of, the fact that there might be manufacturing defects in this type of tool. So it was kind of weird for me to like use the exact same crimps I always use and the exact same wire that I always use. But I was using a different magical crimper. It was one that I had bought for my sister that she hadn't used at all. And try as I might, my crimps just ended up a mangled mess. And I've had some of my friends tell me that they can't get the hang of it, that every time they try it, it's just a mangled mess. And it's entirely possible that it's not you, that it's actually the crimper, that if you tried a different one that didn't have a manufacturing defect, it would work for you. So I'm just going to advise that if you've tried it and it doesn't work and you can't get that round little ball, try returning it and see, maybe try a different one or something like that. It's just, I hadn't experienced that before, and once I did, it just made so much more sense why so many of my friends had experienced a problem with those. And if you recall, I said that I was going to put one of these on the other end, so I'm taking this one off this side and setting it here so I don't forget it, so that when I undo that, it'll be ready to go. Alright, so magical crimper, I'm only going to talk you through on one of them. You don't need me to talk you through on all of them. It's a 2x2 crimp tube. You're going to put your wire through the crimp tube, put it through whatever you are crimping it to, and then bend it back through your crimp tube And this size of magical crimper, it only works on 0.018 and 0.019 wire with 2x2 crimp tubes. It needs to be the correct size or it won't work. But yeah, once you've got this together, get your wires parallel to each other like that. And then you want to center the crimp in this concavity right there. And it's like that on both sides. You want to make sure it's good and centered. And when you do that and give it a little squish, it's going to press down the edges, just the corners of your crimp, and the middle of it will stay rounded. And then you turn it to a different angle, make sure it's centered again, give it another little squish. And then you turn it at another angle, center it, give it another squish, and you just keep going around. You see right there, it looks a little bit mangled. That's okay, because I'm going to keep going around and just turn it until I've gotten it from all of the little angles. I'm doing a little squish. And another tip that someone else mentioned was just not squeezing the heck out of it. Just doing a gentle little squish with your pliers. And when there's no more resistance, then it's done doing its crimping and it leaves you a nice, smooth, round ball of crimp that you can... It's strong, it's good, and it is my favorite way of crimping because then I don't have like any sharp corners or jagged edges on the crimps. I don't have to use a crimp cover, and it is easy for me because I've done it plenty of other times. So I started with the red, and I'm just going to scooch all of my beads along here. And I'm going to crimp the other side to the other ring. So let's cut off enough wire that I can bend it back and have some play. That's going to be, 2-3 inches, something like that. I'm going to do the same thing, the exact same thing. It's going to go a little bit faster because I'm not going to be talking it over with you, but when you bend it back, you put it back through there. And if you want to scooch your wire through your beads, and if they fit, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine, because you can clip off the end right next to the crimp. And that will be just fine. Now I'm going to try and get the loop on this end to be about the same size as the loop on that end. There we go. That should work. Ellen, why are you whining? Ellen is doing a little bit of a whine. It's probably been a while since you guys have heard Ellen whine. She's pretty good about not hacking up hairballs. She's a dog. And just snoozing while I am doing my tutorials. But I turned off the fan that was in my room, so she might be a little bit on the hot side. Or she might have just woken up from her nap, realized I wasn't next to her, and decided that nobody loves her anymore, and she needs to be sad about it. But she forgets that I love her whether I'm sitting next to her or not. It's just one of those things that she's just not good at remembering. It's fine. She'll get it eventually. Alright, so for this one, I'm going to try to do it in the same order on both sides. So I've got my red on the inside. I've got my white wire. And I'm going to crimp the first crimp right here. And it's going to be the same process. Give it a squish. And then rotate it for different sides. Alright guys, hold on a sec. I need to sing a song to my dog. Why are you whining, Ellen? Are you laying too far away? Why are you whining, Ellen? You could move, you've got 4 legs. She quiets a little bit when I sing to her. Why are you whining, Ellen? Did you not get enough to eat? Why are you whining, Ellen? You had 2 meals and several treats. Alright, and their holes are not big enough on these halite beads for that to go through twice. So I'm going to go ahead and clip this right next to my crimp. Bloop. Bloop. Sorry, I have to make a sound effect. It's important. Ellen, everyone you've ever met loves you so and loves to pet. The sweetest girl who's silly too. Oh yes, the world's in love with you. So why are you whining, Ellen? That's right, I need to add my next one on here. So let me click that. Sorry, I wrote a whole song about it. There's a ukulele part, but she sometimes just wants to hear me sing to her. Just gonna double check. Yes, perfect, okay. So while it's laying down, it seems like it's a little bit crowded, but once I pick it up, it's not as crowded. Perfect, all right, and I want that on that outside. I want this on this outside, and I did add that bead, so you don't have to yell at me anymore, guys. I remembered it. All right, so now we're gonna go through here. Put that in that same order. Bring this guy back around. Try to get approximately the same size of loop on here. Oop. It's a little too close. That's just readjusting the loop by pulling on wires. And you want to make sure that there's a little bit of space, just, you know, like a fingernail's width between, let's see if I can scooch, between that second crimp and the bead so that the sides of the crimp can fit around it. Let's see, there we go. Whoop. Turn it the right way. They hang so nicely. All right, now let's add our blue. Same way we did the other ones. We're going to go ahead and crimp one end and then bring it around and crimp the other end. Ellen will whine for various reasons. Sometimes it's because she's moved away from me and out of reach, so I can't pet her, which is why I developed the song. Sometimes she'll whine because she's been looking out of the window and it got dark outside and she can't see anything. And she thinks because I control the lights inside the house that I should be able to also control the lights outside the house. But it doesn't work like that, and she doesn't understand. Sometimes she just needs me to sing to her. But it's always a matter of like, what is the thing that's making her whine this time? You know? It's a mystery. She's a mysterious dog. sometimes she has a little existential crisis and she stares off into the distance for a while. And then she whines a little bit and then she goes to sleep. Alright, I'm actually going to, since that one's a little bit tight, cut that there. I want red, white, and then blue on that side. And then scooch these guys down, all the way down. Bloop, 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 there. Keep going. Keep going, buddy. There we go. Alright. Now I can get it hooked onto the other side here. With a crimp. And once it's on these loops, then I could just attach the loops to the chain and then attach a closure to both sides of that chain. Oop, but I'm going to want to measure the chain and cut it for however long I want this to be on my necklace. So I've got my crimp on, put it through my hoop. She goes. A grumpy grumpus. Do you guys have noisy dogs who, when you are trying to concentrate on something that's not them, decide that they just can't handle that they need you to pay attention to them and only them? And if you don't have dogs, maybe you have a cat that is demanding and was like, you know what? I got a problem with you people and you're going to find out about it. I've been cat sitting for my sister-in-law and her cat. Like, cat sitting means I going over to her house to feed the cat and change her litter box and sit with her because she needs company. She's very demanding about that too. Like, as soon as I'm done with the food and the litter box, she's like, okay, now couch time. I need to make biscuits next to you while you pet me. It's very important to her that I do that. But my sister-in-law's back in town tonight, so I didn't get to go see her, but she is very vocal when I go over there. She's like, follow me, and she stands next to her food dish, and I put food in it. And if I walk away while she's eating, she meows at me and demands that I follow her back into that room. And then she'll keep eating, but only as long as I'm standing next to her. She's like, she keeps looking up to check and see if I'm still there. Look at that, guys. I love it. I'm going to scooch back out a little bit. Whoop, nope. Wrong way. There we go. So we can start looking at how we're going to attach the chain. All right. So for this chain, I'm going to start with untangling it because I had it tangled for some reason. That's okay. You know what, maybe the untangled side is what we're going to be working with today. So what I'm going to do is use a jump ring, and I think I want to use, where is it? I got it out specifically for this. There they are. I have some oval jump rings, because oval ones have a split in the long side, but the short side is where the pressure is on, so it won't split open, or you won't have part of the chain sitting there on that. So oval jump rings are a little more secure and they work a little bit better than round ones. And I kept misplacing my oval jump rings, so I'm going to use some chain nose pliers. And because it's right here, just to hold it steady, I'm going to slowly open this oval jump ring. I'm going to put one end of this chain, I have not cut the chain yet, one end of this chain on there, and the other end onto my little circle there. Get this closed up, And now I'm going to figure out how long I want this chain to be by holding this up and seeing where the other side of this chain hits this ring. And that's how I will determine how long it's going to be and how much chain I use. Pulling the chain behind my neck and seeing where it hits that circle. When the circle is held up to where I want it to sit on my neck. You know what? I love this. I just caught a glimpse of myself in the window. It looks fantastic. Alright, so it looks like it's not very much chain. About there is where I want to cut this chain. I'm just going to snip one of my links. Oh, you grumpy grumpus. There we go. Alright, and then I want to find the middle of this. Let me see. Do that by holding that link next to that one, folding it in half, and finding the middle link. Alright, so there's the middle link. I'm going to cut that. And now I've got my second length of chain. Like if you want to do math and figure out how long this is and how long you want it to be, you can do that, but I always seem to math wrong when I try to do that, so holding it up and measuring it that way seems to work so much better for me than the other way. So let's get this attached here. It's a pretty simple necklace. I didn't have to do that much work. I just basically transferred these to some beading wire and I'm attaching them together with a couple of simple findings and some chain, and I'm gonna have myself a super red, white, and blue necklace that I can wear. You know what? I don't have to just wear it on the 4th of July. I could wear it for Bastille Day too. Go. I'm not French. Alright, so I've got my little lobster clasp and a jump ring. I could just clasp that lobster anywhere on this chain, but I'm going to put a jump ring on the other end for it to clasp. This is a round jump ring instead of the oval ones, but I'm going to attach it with an oval one for consistency's sake. Here we go. Now, the trick is going to be for me to remember where I put those oval jump rings in the future. Or maybe I should just get more, because then I'll just have a bunch of oval jump rings everywhere. Maybe. We'll see. But I'm just twisting it open, hooking it onto the end of the chain, hooking on our clasp. Oh, there you go, buddy. Don't want to go on there. Make sure it's closed. And then on the other side, same thing, but with this jump ring over here. Open it up. Put it on there. And close it. Hooray. And yeah, if you watch my wrap up and chat, I usually do it on Sundays. I will definitely try this on for you. And I'm going to have some red, white, and blue bracelets to make tomorrow. So you can look forward to that. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. I hope y'all are having a fun and safe holiday. I hope everyone keeps all of their fingers by the end of the night. Happy beading. Bye.